tell you some apparent breaking news. According to reports, Dianne Abbott has been suspended by the Labour Party. It comes, you'll be familiar with this, she doubled down about the comments that she made about racism in a letter to The Observer in 2023. She essentially wrote that Irish, Jewish and traveller people, quote, undoubtedly experience prejudice that is similar to racism. Anyway, now there's been a new interview and she was asked if she looks back on that whole thing with regret, and she said, and I quote, "No, not at all. Clearly, there must be a difference between racism, which is about colour, and other types of racism, because you can see a traveller or a Jewish person walking down the street. You don't know. You don't know unless you stop and speak to them, or you're at a meeting with them. But," she says, "if you saw a black person walking down the street, you can see straight away that they're black. There are different types of racism." Aaron Bastani, your thoughts on that?
Well, I think what she says seems quite sensible, but I don't know the full content of her comments, but there are obviously different kinds of racism. It doesn't help Keir Starmer that he's suspending and removing the whip from so many people.
Do you want to save a boatload of cash this summer, wherever you have a trip planned? The one thing you're going to need is access to the internet and on the go. And you can do that easily with Saily. Hit the link in the description to get 15% of your first eSIM plan ready for your trip so you can browse to your heart's content. Saily gets you a local SIM card you can use when travelling so you don't have to pay those crazy roaming fees just to send a message or check the latest news. Now, they've got plans in over 160 countries, 8 regions, so pretty much everywhere, wherever you're going, they'll be able to make sure you're connected. So how does it work? All you've got to do is this. Hit the link in the description to download the app. It will work on iOS or Android. Buy a plan. You can choose an amount of data and time frame that suits you best. And then just install the eSIM on your phone. When you land at your holiday destination, you can activate your plan instantly. And if that wasn't enough, Saily eSIMs only ever have to be installed once. So when you go on your next trip, you just buy a plan for a new country, turn that eSIM back on, and boom, you're back watching me on GB News. I'll be using a Saily SIM on my next holiday because it's actually faster than some of the hotel Wi-Fis. You can get unlimited data if you want, so you can scroll away to your heart's content. And when you leave the hotel, you don't have to do that annoying thing of Wi-Fi hopping because you've got constant connectivity wherever you go. And they've got 24/7 support as well, and a full refund policy if your eSIM isn't compatible. So get sorted for your next trip. Download Saily using the link in the description below. And if you use the code NEWS at checkout, you'll get an exclusive 15% discount on us. So click the link, download Saily, and use the code NEWS at checkout.
Can I just say about that Dianne Abbott, by the way?
Well, hang on, before you do...
I agree with Dianne Abbott.
Hang on, just wait. Before you do say that, hold your horses, young man. A Labour Party spokesperson has said, I wasn't talking about your men, Aaron, Dianne Abbott has been administratively suspended from the Labour Party pending an investigation. They say we cannot comment further whilst this investigation is ongoing. Go on, then.
Why on earth would the Labour Party suspend her for that? After all, it's plainly true, right? It's plainly true. It is true that there is a lot of anti-Semitism in our country right now, and you know where a lot of it is coming from. OK? It's coming from the members of the Islamist community over Gaza, right? But it is plainly true that if somebody is black or brown and walking and you have a hostility towards them, we're talking about minorities, you are going to see that. And have a thought process about that when you're not going to have it about somebody who's Irish or got a red head or potentially Jewish. You're going to see a colour is the first thing you see. And if you ask people of colour, that colour is important to them. And on the other side, there are horrible people who don't like that, right? So it is. So why are the Labour Party doing this? Are they doing it actually because it's plainly true? Are they doing it actually because they actually don't like her? Right? Is that the reason? Are they being racist? You know, I just can't. For the life of me, I can't understand it. She said nothing there which I think would offend people generally. Now, if you're Jewish, right, it may be possible that you could be recognised walking down the street. I very much doubt it. If you are Caribbean or you come,
you would be recognised if you was wearing a skull cap. You'd be recognised as or identified as Jewish.
You might have a view, and there will be horrible people who have a view about that, right? Yes, that's true. But that is a minority. The massive majority is about whether you're black or brown, and it's much easier to work things out. I don't understand it. I think the Labour Party are all over the place on almost everything. I would say that there's a hatred towards Diane Abbott because of her politics, which is speeding this along.
Well, should we hear from Diane Abbott? So this was the interview earlier on that's caused this latest bit of hot water. Take a listen.
You appear to suggest, in the view of some of your critics anyway, that the kind of anti-Semitism that the Jewish community suffered, or travellers suffered, or Irish people suffered, was somehow different from the racism that you as a young black person had suffered. You were suspended and there was a great hoo-ha. Do you look back on that with regret?
No, not at all. Clearly, there must be a difference between racism, which is about colour, and other types of racism.
Aaron, any further thoughts from you on this? I mean, to be honest, I'll give her a few minutes before she actually just teams up with Jeremy Corbyn and Zara Sultana.
Yeah, true.
I don't think, of all the people watching this right now, I think less than 1% would think that she's wrong in what she's saying. She's saying there is racism towards Jewish people and towards travellers, people of traveller heritage, and there's racism towards people of, black or brown heritage, but they're not the same thing. And I think 99.9% of the public would agree with that. If there's I've got many Jewish friends, if you saw them walking down the street, you wouldn't know they were Jewish. Of course, if they make a job application, they might have a certain kind of name, then yes, they might be discriminated on the basis of that name. The point that Diane is making is that you can't see that at first pass like you can with a brown or black person. We all know this. I mean, this is Keir Starmer's Labour Party. The man is a panic attack in waiting. The slightest media scandal and they start having the pulse go up and they start, asking one another, what on earth do we do? Panic stations, get the PR people out. Look, it's calm down. You're trying to run the country. If this is the kind of thing that the Prime Minister and the party of government is focused on when they're trying to run the country, this country has so many problems and they're suspending an MP for saying something which 99.9% of the public agrees with. It's crazy.
There's a lot of people that didn't agree with it, and there's a lot of people that were actually offended by it. And at the time, Diane Abbott, I recall, basically ended up apologising. I think it was for any anguish caused. So whilst you might say that pretty much everyone agrees, there are absolutely a cohort of people that absolutely do not. And there's a lot of people that think she should never have been readmitted in the first place.
But your earlier point was correct. She didn't have a place to go. Right. So now she has a place to go. So at some stage she'll be teaming up with Corbyn and joining the other kind of left-wing dinosaurs, so it was a dinosaur cemetery.
Evening, Michelle. Yeah, big news there. We're seeing Diane Abbott suspended administratively. She basically reignited this row from October 2023 when she said that if you're black, it's a different form of a racism experience than if you're Jewish or a traveller. She said this, didn't she? There must be a difference between racism, which is about colour, and other types of racism, because you can see a traveller or a Jewish person in the street, you don't know until you speak to them. But of course, if you see a black person, then you can see straight away they are black, and that's a different type of racism. It's reignited this battle in the party, and now she's been suspended tonight, losing her whip. That comes after 4 others lost their whips yesterday. Earlier, Sir Keir Starmer was asked about this, why is that he's now suspending MPs when he's got this huge majority in the House of Commons. And he said he's determined. He told reporters at this press conference with Mr. Merz from Germany, the Chancellor, I'm determined, he says, to change this country for the better. We have to deal with people who repeatedly break the whip. So it's different, a different form of discipline with Diane Abbott, but certainly he's cracking the whip as these MPs disappear off for their 6-week summer break. Earlier we heard from Friedrich Merz talking with Sir Keir Starmer. It's clear that the UK is trying to form an alliance with both France and Germany on tackle the 2 big issues that those 3 countries share, which is defence and migration. And we may have a clip of what's being said earlier.
Crucially, we're also working together on illegal migration. And I want to thank Friedrich for his leadership on this, pledging decisive action to strengthen German law this year so that small boats being stored or transported in Germany can be seized, disrupting the route to the UK. And it's a clear sign that we mean business. We are coming after the criminal gangs in every way that we can.
So Keir Starmer there and Friedrich Merz. Of course, the German Chancellor couldn't resist a bit of a dig about Brexit, but that's what happens there. Of course, nowadays, any European leader coming here likes to get there all in and interfere in our democratic process. I'm not sure about that, but there we are. Of course, he was standing in front of two Union flags, while Friedrich Merz in front of the EU flag and, of course, the German flag, and that almost indicates the fact we are separate from the European Union. But we are seeing increasingly how the UK is forming an axis with the France and Germany in Europe. They're called the E3 leading European nations. I think we're seeing more of that as we go forward. The question for many Brexiteers is, how close can you get to the European Union and lose those benefits of Brexit?